And for legal analysis of the charges Mr. Trump faces, we turn to two experts in national security and handling classified documents. Ona Hathaway is professor at Yale Law School and former special counsel at the Pentagon, and Jamil Jaffer is a law professor at George Mason University. He previously served in the National Security Division at the Justice Department and is associate counsel to President George W. Bush. Thank you both for being here. And I want to start by reading from the indictment. We invite our viewers to go online where they can find it and read it for themselves. And I want to start, Jamil, with page 2, because we learn precisely what Donald Trump had in his possession. The classified documents Trump stored in the boxes included information regarding defense and weapons capabilities of both the U.S. and foreign countries, U.S. nuclear programs, potential vulnerabilities of the U.S. and its allies to military attack, and plans for possible retaliation in response to a foreign attack. Given the breadth and scope of the allegations spelled out in this indictment, which strikes you?
You know, 102 documents that were found at the Trump Mar-a-Lago residence after he had turned over the documents to the FBI, saying that he had returned all the documents to the government. Beyond that, in the indictment itself, 31 documents listed, the 31 counts of willful retention of documents. Of that, 10 were sensitive compartment information, another 8 special access programs. These are the most sensitive documents the government has. Highly classified programs that very few people in the government have access to. Donald Trump has them sitting around Mar-a-Lago, withholds them even after being asked for them by the government. That's a problem.
And Ona, on that point, page 8 of the indictment shows the departments and agencies from which the documents originated. The CIA, the Defense Department, the National Security Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office. The list goes on. What are the national security implications here, given the way that they were stored and to whom Mr. Trump allegedly showed them?
It's really extraordinary. I mean, as Jamil rightly said, you know, the kinds of secrets that are in these documents are among the most closely held secrets the U.S. government has. They are information relevant to ongoing preparations for military operations. There are documents in here that relate to the military capabilities of our foreign allies and adversaries, the U.S. nuclear program. I mean, it's really the most tightly held secrets the U.S. government has, and information that really could do extremely serious harm to U.S. national security. And the range of agencies that are mentioned in this document just gives you a sense of how extensive this information really is.
Jamil, I want to ask you about a couple of other developments in this case today. One, we heard Lisa report that 2 of Mr. Trump's attorneys in this case resigned today. They didn't give much detail as to why they were stepping down. And we also learned that the case will be overseen, at least initially, by Judge Aileen Cannon. If she sounds familiar to folks, it's because she's the judge who made a number of controversial rulings in the early stages of this investigation and had to be overruled by the 11th Circuit for overstepping. What do you see as the significance there?
Well, look, it obviously says something not good for President Trump that 2 of his attorneys felt the need to resign and step aside. Jim Trusty just yesterday was on CNN defending the president. And so the fact that he decided today to step aside, we don't know what it means, but it means something. Now, with Judge Cannon, look, I think we can expect the judge to be fair, even-handed. She's been on district court for a while, right? She has a reputation for being fair. That being said, she did enter some rulings that were controversial, as you correctly point out, and ultimately was reversed by the 11th Circuit, and I think probably understands now that the court is watching this case closely and will keep an eye on it.
Ona, Mr. Trump has been saying for months that he was within his rights to take these documents. He even suggested in a conversation last year that he effectively declassified them with his mind. Take a look.
If you're the president of the United States, you can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it, because you're sending it to Mar-a-Lago or to wherever you're sending it. And there doesn't have to be a process. There can be a process, but there doesn't have to be. You're the president. You make that decision.
Fast forward to what CNN reported today. They obtained a transcript of a July 2021 meeting where Mr. Trump is discussing a classified Pentagon document about attacking Iran. And this transcript is also included in the indictment. And he's saying of this document, he says, I just found this. Isn't it amazing? Except it's like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. As president, I could have declassified it, but now I can't. How damaging is that potentially?
This is extraordinarily damaging for the president. It really shows that even if he claims that he declassified these documents somehow by thinking it and not actually notifying anyone, which doesn't actually constitute actual declassification. But let's just imagine we ran with his argument, which I think no legal expert would buy. He here is admitting outright that he knows that he didn't declassify these documents and that there are documents in his possession that remain classified and that he can't show to someone because they remain secret and they remain classified. So he's undercutting one of the key arguments that he's been trying to make all along, and I think really undercutting his lawyers who are going to be trying to make arguments that he didn't violate the Espionage Act. But effectively what he's doing here is offering an admission on tape. So I think it really makes the case very hard for the defense.
I see you shaking your head in agreement.
Yeah, no, I think Una's exactly right. I mean, the idea that you can declassify something just by thinking about it, that's completely wrong. You have to take some sort of action. Now, the president does have broad declassification authority. We saw President Trump actually do that. He took a picture with his iPhone of a highly classified image, tweeted it out. The president has the ability to do that. Once you leave office, you don't have the authority. This tape has him admitting it and admitting a document in his own hands at that time remains classified. He knew it. He still showed it to those folks at that meeting. He did something that's noted in the indictment elsewhere, where he also showed a document and said, well, don't get too close. I can't actually show you this map. It's classified.
Jamil, some of Mr. Trump's defenders have been drawing comparisons to Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server for official public communications.